Test. On your marks.
edged out in the end.
Now, the thing that I don't understand about this race is Ratana is the athlete in this field that has that 100-meter speed, but he doesn't ever use it at the start. He doesn't seem to want to be in the lead for this 800 meters. And when it comes to an 800, position is so important, which is why Smink put so much effort doing exactly the right thing, trying to get that pole position. Unfortunately, as we saw, he didn't quite have the endurance at the end, but I have to say that was a very smart race from Smink. However, Wang, he did time that perfectly, and he was lucky because luck was a little bit on his side. The risk of letting someone else take this race in the front is that you are then stuck working your way around other people. Now, Wang, he was good in that he stayed on the outside, he gave himself some room, he found it and was able to come wide. However, there's always an element of luck that goes into that, and he was fortunate that that opened up. And then again, Ratana, he did so well in that he got second. He used that speed to excellent use. However, if he had just been in a better position to begin with, he was all the way at the back of the pack. He had to work his way through, waste energy. I just think, what would that race look like if Ratana felt like he could go to the front from the start?
Yeah, Wang Yang is a back-to-back 800 meters champion. The two global championship medals that he's picked up. It's worth pointing out as well, by the way, Ali Rashid, who was up there for a long time for Qatar and who started wonderfully and who was still jousting with about 400 to go. He, in the end, fell back to last place, I'm sorry to say, and this is him at this stage on the crest of a wave in front, and then Smink slipped up ahead of him. He slipped back, the Qatari.
And actually, you're right. It's a good point about Rashid, because I love seeing that from athletes, being willing. They understand where they need to be, and they're not afraid to go for it. But just watch for Ratana come through. His wheel is just poking through on that screen. He had so much speed there at the end, and you just think if he had found himself in a better position, he could have won that race.
Wang held on, and if you want to think about a textbook athlete who does that and who wins races, Madison de Rosario tends to come on the outside a lot and win that way. But Wang Yang, an impressive win for him and a good time. Worth taking a look at the times when they come up. But it is Wang Yang's success. So Wang Yang, the champion for China, 140.24. Ratana, the silver for Thailand. Austin Smink, the bronze for Canada, ahead of McCracken and Katila, and only half a second between the top five. Well, Reid McCracken's wait for a world gold. The wait continues, unfortunately. Brilliant athlete. Here's another one.
We are in round 3 for the women's long jump event. At the moment, Blacksmith of Australia on the runway. Now, she is currently sitting in 9th position, and this is significant. We know this is the round where only the top 8 athletes are moving forward. And currently, she's just on the wrong side of that mark. And oh, unfortunately, that is a red flag for Talea Blacksmith of Australia. She will not be moving forward to get those next 3 jumps. However, this is a World Championship debut for Blacksmith. She's already made the 400-meter final here in a very competitive field. She is just 17 years old. One of Australia's 16. She was a 16th Indigenous athlete competing at the Paralympics for Australia. She holds multiple records across the 1, 2, and long jump. Plenty of competitions in her future. From a 17-year-old to a 16-year-old, Floriane Lantoine of France. Now, she has had her championship debut competing in the 400, 1500, and long jump. Now, you might think that's a little bit of a strange combination. Unfortunately, given the red flag there, this will be the end of her long jump competition. And you might think the 415 long jump is a little bit of a strange one, but I think she's doing the exact right thing as a young athlete, trying everything out, figuring out, 1, what she likes to do, and 2, what she's good at. And often those 2 end up being one and the same. She did very well to make it through qualifications yesterday. Unfortunately, this will be the end of her competition here today. But again, another teenager, just 16 in this event with a very bright future. And I should also update you that Cassiano da Silva is still in the lead. Kucharczyk Urbanska, the world record holder, reigning Paralympic champion, has taken her second jump, and it has not been good enough yet to overhaul Cassiano. Sapanza, neutral para-athlete, currently sitting in 5th position. She opened with a personal best 5:38 in the first round. Another athlete making her world championship debut. Not bad to come out and lay down a personal best. 4 meters 99, that won't improve, and she stays in 5th position, and at the moment will be moving on to take her remaining jumps. Ana Filippi, 26-year-old from Portugal. This is not her debut. She is very experienced. 3-time Paralympian. Oh, and you just watch there as she builds that speed on the runway. I mean, I talk about it all the time. Speed is the most important asset you can have as a jumper. It sets your ceiling in terms of the maximum distance. And the difference between a sprinter and a long jumper, 5:19 there, 5:33 will remain her best total. The difference for a long jumper is that it doesn't actually matter how long it takes you to get down the runway. All that matters is that you are at max speed by the time you take off. And so often you'll see athletes build their rhythm slowly as they move down that runway. And it just means that they are relaxed and loose when it comes to the takeoff.
Time now to move back to the track. Women's 100 meters T35, the opening heat, semi-final in effect. There are 5 set to go in this one. Zhu Jie, the world Paralympic champion, not here. She's also the world record holder. Summer Giddings, 22 years of age. She turns 23 on Halloween. Has a degree in cybersecurity, coached by Michael Hemmings-Jones. She'll go in lane number 4. Anna Luxova of Czechia, 4th in the shot put here at these championships, looking to go at least one better in the 100 meters in the T35 category. Coordination impairment. .200 gold medalist already at these championships as she goes for the 100-200 double. Gu Jingquan, who was silver in Paris last year, in lane number 6. Marianne Bankradze, her first major championships, 19 years of age, from Georgia, goes in lane number 7. And the lady who came 4th in the 200 meters, just missing out in the middle. She's 20 years of age, was 5th last year in Paris. Ingrid Rudecka of Poland in lane number 8. Just getting a bottle onto the track there. Thank you very much, Mr. Official. First 3 will automatically qualify through to the final this evening. The next 2 fastest after that across the first and the second heat will go through as well. Just 4 going that are scheduled in that second heat, so 5 in this one. Australia with a very young group of athletes here, gaining plenty of experience.
Set.
So this is the most impaired in the coordination impairment category, T35, and it is Gu, who has won the 200 meters here, who gets away fastest of all. Rudecka of Poland out there in lane number 8, in 2nd position. It is the first 3 that go through. Gu first, Rudecka 2nd, and in 3rd place in lane number 4, it's Anna Luxova, by the looks of things, who may have gone through. It's actually Summer Giddings, I should say, of Australia. But it is Gu who's gone through in a season best time of 14:71. Rudecka 2nd of Poland, 15:54. And the top 3 going through to the final. It is Summer Giddings, 16:89 for the youngster who makes up the top three. The remainers in Luxembourg and Bakradze, who have run out of it, will have to wait and see if they can go through as one of those fastest qualifiers after both the heats. But Gu, as expected, after taking victory in the 200 metres, fast enough away in the 100 as well.
What you can see in this heat, I think, is the word variety. We saw variety at the start in terms of the athletes choose to start, and we see a lot of variety in terms of the stride. And that is one of the things with this category. There's no standard way to do it. It's whatever works for you. And one of the comments I hear from coaches in parasport all the time that have maybe come from able-bodied sport is actually they love having a new puzzle to solve, and they're getting kind of bored of looking at the same thing all the time.
So Gu takes it, season best time. Renetska and Giddings also through. And the way it's worked out with the athletes who are competing, Luxembourg is also through, fourth place. Bakradze missing out, finishing in 1952.
Just a quick update, by the way, in that women's discus F55 final. Diana Kremina, the perennial world champion, she has leapt up in front ahead of Castano, with Chebakova in third spot. They all have major championship titles to the name. Kremina, the six-time world, twice Paralympic champion. She leads.
Now I have some unfortunate news for any fans from Turkey watching. Unfortunately, Ezra Bayrak has taken her third and final attempt, and it was another foul. So the competition will end for her. Her teammate, Reyhan Tasdilin, also sitting on 2 fouls, and we will see her in just a little bit to see if she can register a mark and get into that top 8. Another athlete sitting on 2 fouls, Valentina Stepanenkova. We saw the frustration she was feeling after that second foul, and you have to have a very short memory as an athlete. You cannot dwell on that frustration. You can't dwell on what's happened. Only thing that you can do is focus on what is still in your control, and that is this jump. Oh, and you can just see there the stutter step that was happening, the way that she was steering. She was so determined to get that jump in, and yet the sacrifice there was all of that speed that she built up. Stepanenkova comes in with a personal best of 5 meters 16. That jump was well below 5 meters, and unfortunately for her to move on at the moment, she will need a jump bigger than 5 meters 12. 4:08 for Stepanenkova. You can just see her there explaining, yes, I was stutter stepping in. I just wanted to make sure that I got that correct mark. Unfortunately, that distance is not going to be enough to move on. Reyhan Tasdilin has already seen her teammate Ezra Bayrak go out on 3 fouls. And right now she herself is sitting on 2. She knows what is at stake here. Oh, and that was a decent jump. And my goodness, there is so much pressure on that athlete as they stand on that runway. Everything they've been working for since the start of their career, everything they've been working for that year, they know that it rests on that jump. And you can see from that reaction, she knows, unfortunately, while it was a valid jump, 5:05 is not going to be enough to help her move up into that top 8 and move on. And just see the emotion on the face, and you just really feel for the athlete, because you know so much work has gone into that and only one opportunity a year to show it off.
Well, on we go. It's the second semi-final of Vector with the women's 100 meters T35. Standing coordination impairment, and of those 4 categories, it's the most restricted, really. Decent field, top 3 to go through. And here's a championship debutante. In lane 4, neutral athlete finished 5th in the 200 meters final. It's Maria Kobalova. In lane 5 for Iraq, their first ever world championship female track medalist. Silver in the 200 meters here. Bronze on the 1 and the 2 in the last Asian Games. It's Fatima Suwaid. In lane 6-4, Sweden from Falu, IK and Dalarna, clubmate of the Klur sisters, Susanne and Jenny. Ellen Westing for Sweden. And in lane 7 for India, bronze of the 200 meters here, 4th in the Asian Games last time out 2 years ago in Hangzhou, is Preeti Pal. Bronze medalist in the Paralympic Games over 200 meters last year. And that was a massive achievement. Kovalova, she's 21, Suwaid 18, Vesling 17, and Pal 25. Combined age of 81 between these four. And Ellen Vesling, her mother Linda, sister Nora, also athletes. Round Uppsala and Falaway. So Kovalova 4, Suwaid 5, Vesling 6, Pal 7. Top 3 to go through. Away they go. It's a solid start by Fatima Suwaid of Iraq, the 18-year-old, and even better by Preeti Pal, the Paralympic bronze medalist, the world bronze medalist. She's away and clear and going to win this. Preeti Pal, very fast. Suwaid second, 14:51 the winning time. Third is Kovalova, and fourth is Ellen Westing. And that is really impressive by Preeti Pal. Away she went, 14:50, ultimately the winning time. And that was an absolute belter ultimately. It was a great start by Suwaid, but Pal was away and clear. And Preeti Pal, who's been making history herself the last couple of championships, well, she breezes through. Look at that time, she wins by over a second. Obviously it's coordination impairment, and the body can shut down even in a 100 meters race. Wow.
We spoke a bit in the last heat about the difference in terms of technique and style when it comes to running, as athletes need to work with whatever their body is designed to do. And the difference here for me is just her frequency and her foot speed. You can see that Suwaid is all power, but in this case, it is the frequency that wins out.
Very good double medal at the Paralympic Games, and Preeti Pal looked very, very good. She progresses. Preeti Pal, 14:50. Suwaid through, Kovalova through. Lifetime best for Kovalova. And Ellen Westing of Sweden is also through to the final tonight. Change of lead of the women's discus F55. And it is the former world champion from 2 years ago, Rosa Maria Guerrero, who's on top. Cremina's second, Castaño third. Remember, there's a separate field feed as well with additional events in that as we go to another field final. And it's the women's shot put F40. These are the athletes of shorter stature, and included in this, well, a tremendous athlete in the form of the reigning Paralympic champion, Lara Bars. So let's start off with Oksana Spitaru of Moldova, 6:12 this season. Should be quite competitive. The European champion, world champion Renata Sawinska of Poland. Raya Jabali, 8:82 thrower, regularly on the podium herself. Good prospects that she might well do the same today for Tunisia. At the age of 18, Medina Mukhtarova looking to pull off another major result for Uzbekistan. Mejia, Paleth Mejia of Mexico. She's gone 8:64 this year for a lifetime best, but this is the Paralympic champion. A very, very emphatic winner of it last year at the Stade de France, Lara Bars. In this F40, Salters Dagvadorj of Mongolia, 6:42 this year. Big time prospects for her as well. Rabia Sirit of Tunisia. Mariam El Zayudi, she's getting major championship medals now, both in this and in powerlifting. Same as her sister. And Diana Shaposhnikova of Kazakhstan is wading in as well in this final, 5:27 so far this season, and that is a lifetime best. Bars, Srivinska, Jabali was the 1-2-3 last year. Bars also silver behind Svinska in the most recent European Championships. As we go to the women's discus F55. Guerrero now in front in this, 27.42. And she leads. So Guerrero bronze in the last 2 Paralympic Games. An excellent gold for her 2 years ago in the World Championships in Paris. That's beyond 25 meters by her. All 6 throws at once. So Diana Kremina led for Latvia, the 6-time world, twice Paralympic champion, and the reigning world and Paralympic champion in the javelin. She led with a lifetime best of 26.51, and Guerrero with the first throw beat that with a 27.42. That's a bit shorter, 26.44. Before that, the reigning Paralympic champion Erica Castano was in front, but now she's dropped to 3rd spot, and there's no right to reply. All your throws are in, and the game is over. Maria Navarro is, of the next 4, the only prospective medalist.
First heat in the men's 100 metres T63. It will be in lane number 3. Kondo Hajime, the 8th place in the long jump of these championships, 25 years of age. Daniel Wagner, silver in Paris last year, bronze in the long jump here already at these championships. He'll go in lane number 4. Kozeletso Mabuti of South Africa, silver medalist in Kobe last year, 20 years of age. He was 5th in the Paris Paralympics. He goes in lane number 5. Reigning Paralympic champion Ezra Freck, silver in the high jump at these championships, 5th in the long jump, 20 years of age. You'll always get a good soundbite out of him. And Zhou Diong, gold medalist in the long jump at these championships. He was gold medalist and world champion in this back in 2023 in Paris. He goes in lane number 7 for the Netherlands.
On your marks.
So the first 3 will go through, the next 2 fastest across this, and the second effectively semi-final go through to the semis final. Decent field this. Could be quick.
Set.
And they jump, and getting away quickest of all was Daniel Wagner in lane number 4, but Mbote is going quick, as is Zhou Diong. Mbote is going to take it from Zhou Diong in 2nd, and 3rd place is Daniel Wagner. Well, we'll just look at the time. 12:07 it's come up as, unofficially. Zhou Diong has just run straight off the track. Well, I can tell you it's a championship record. That may be broken again because they can go quicker than that. 12:06 the mark for Mbote. Breaking the championship record set by Scott Reardon back in Doha in 2015.
Now, one of the questions you might have if you are new to watching above-knee amputee racers is how do those knees know when to bend and when to flick forward? And it is an incredible piece of technology, and there are sensors within the knees. And I was chatting with one of the prosthetists, and they said it's actually easier to design a knee for running than walking because you know exactly what they're going to do when running. They're just going to go in a straight line. Everyday design for a knee is actually a little bit trickier.
Well, there could be a bit of a shock here. I suspect he'll go through anyway after the second semi-final. Ezra Freck, though, finishing in 4th position, the Paralympic champion, so not having the games perhaps that he wanted. So Mbote with a championship record, 12:06, breaking a mark set back in Doha 10 years ago by Scott Reardon. Zhou Diong goes through 2nd, Wagner 3rd with a season best. Ezra Freck, it is a season best in 4th position. It should be enough for him to go through depending on the second of the semi-finals. Kondo, 13.24, will be struggling in 5th place.
We are past the halfway mark in this competition, and we are not used to seeing Kucharczyk-Urbanska in 3rd position. She is the world record holder. She is the reigning Paralympic champion. She's not the reigning world champion because she chose not to compete in Kobe. But thanks to a season's best by Fatma Altın of Turkey, who then knocked Kucharczyk-Urbanska down into 3rd place. This is where she finds herself. She is a 6-meter plus jumper at her best. And while that was an excellent, beautiful, very efficient jump, it just doesn't have the speed that we normally see from Kucharczyk-Urbanska. Now that is quite a lot of strapping down the back of her legs. And sometimes that is purely preventative. 5 meters 43, that will not improve her position. Sometimes when we see taping like that, it's not an issue at all. It's just a way of activating the muscle. But sometimes it does perhaps hint that not everything quite in order for the athlete. Now there was some unfortunate news for Turkish fans earlier. 3 athletes in this field, 2 of them knocked out because only the top 8 moving on. However, Fatma Altın finds herself currently in silver position. She is a bronze medalist from Kobe 2024. Also a bronze medalist from Paris 2024. She is no stranger to the podium. However, she has never won a silver medal on the global stage. Her personal best sits at 5 meters 73. She is already jumping very close to that. Has an excellent knee drive there on that one. So important if you want to be able to convert all of that energy that you've created. And yet you can see with her coach, she doesn't look entirely happy with that jump. Even something that we think is a good jump for the athlete, if they know that they've been jumping better in practice, if they know that better is in them, then they're disappointed.
We're on the way to the second heat of the men's 100 meters T63. They are effectively semi-finals, 5 going in this, including world champion. So we'll start off with lane 3, and for Belgium, Ilyas Benkador. 14:37 man in his time. Palatip Kampa of Thailand, 17 years old, global debut. He goes in lane 4 for Thailand. Lane 5 for the United States. We've already seen him in the long jump final. Pan Am bronze back in 2015 in Toronto for Desmond Jackson. The reigning Asian Games champion goes in lane 6 for Indonesia. Silver on the long jump as well for Patin. And in lane 7 for the United States, the 5-time world champion, the reigning 100 meters world champion from last year in Kobe, but 4th in this in Paris of the Paralympics last year, Leon Schaefer. So all set. Benkador was 8th in Paris in the Worlds a couple of years ago in this 100 meters.
On your mark.
That is Reflect's time from the opening semi-final, 12:51. But he is right now the fastest non-automatic, fastest in the hot seat. It's not been a great week for him. Mabote impressive though with that championship record 12:06, so Scott Reardon's name out of the books for the time being. Benkador in 3, Kamta 4, Jackson 5, Partin 6, Schaefer in 7.
Set.
Top 3 in the next 2 to go through. Way first time of asking. What a start by Parton, as usually is the case. The Asian Games champion. He's flying up and he's maintaining a good pace here. It's Parton and Jackson and Schaefer. Oh my word! Schaefer's gone. Wow, Parton and Jackson on the line. But that's a big name who's departed. And the world champion is not going to defend his title. That's extraordinary. Parton wins it and wins it well, 12:32. And that's a fast time in its own right. It's a very good victory, but what happened after is quite amazing. You can just see Schaefer here go. Oh,
we were just talking about in the other heat how these incredible knees know when to bend and when to lock. And sometimes what can happen is if you hit your blade perhaps in a spot that isn't as consistent as you normally do, sometimes that knee can just react incorrectly. And oh, do you know what? That's devastating for two reasons. One, it is painful, but two, you end up losing just a little bit of trust in that blade for a moment, and it takes some time just to reconnect with it. And oh, you just see Leon Schaefer right there, so frustrated.
it's horrible for Schaefer. The 5-time world champion across this and the long jump. Brilliant sprinter. Bronze in Paris 2 years ago. Just outside of the medals in the Paralympic Games last year. And he had massive bad luck. He had the foresight to walk over the line just in case. He will be a reserve for the final, but he will not be in it. Not for the time being. That is astonishing. And it's a massive name who falls. Results in a mo.
We are into round 4 of the women's T20 long jump. Sapanza sitting in 6th position, will not improve. A foul on that one.
Just a quick one in the men's shot put F33 final taking place. The seed of the event, Dennis Sherney leads out with a season best 12.17. Kajina in 2nd with a season best 11.09, and Kruppen, neutral para athlete, is in 3rd position. He's moved up to 2nd position now because he's the last to throw. So it is Sherney, Kruppen and Kajina in that one, and they are just about to go into the final athlete in a few moments' time.
Sapanza had a fantastic start with the personal best, and unfortunately since then just been struggling a little bit with that runway. A story we have seen throughout the competition, throughout the weeks of competition. Never underestimate how difficult it is to run accurately at full tilt at a marker. Jordania Felix Barbosa. She won a bronze medal in the 400 meters at the Tokyo Paralympics at just 17 years old. She has excellent speed. Now on that jump, there was just a little bit of stutter stepping into that board, which is always a problem when it comes to long jumping, because it just means that you're putting the brakes on, you're killing all that wonderful speed that you have built up. Just there you could see those final 2 little stutter steps. And while yes, it did make sure that that jump was given the all clear, it does significantly detract from the distance on it. 5 meters 35. Doesn't improve on her position. But if she can just get a takeoff at speed, she could do some damage in this final 6th round when it comes.
Just saying it verbally, from that 100 meters T63, Ezra Freck and Ejime Kondo are through as next fastest qualifiers. Mabote with that championship record, and Yoel de Jong next fastest for that final tonight.
Now Michaela Rostowski has not been on the global podium since 2017. She's jumping very well here today, sitting in 4th. Will not improve in this round. With a foul on that one. Oh, you gotta love athletes that will just give you their honest reaction, which I've always found when competing is the best thing to do. The best thing to move past an emotion is just to feel it. I always found anyways. What beautiful flight off that board, and one of the best heel flicks we have seen all week. giving up no distance. And you just get a sense how much Rostowski wants to be on that podium. Well, she'll have one more attempt to make it happen. At the moment, she remains in 4th position. We now turn to our world record holder, our reigning Paralympic champion, finding herself in the unusual position right now of 3rd. And she's been winning medals since 2011. And one of the benefits of being an athlete with all that experience is when it comes to moments like this, finding yourself in 3rd place with 2 jumps left. Can you find it within you to pull out that big jump when you need it? Now we know that she is a 6-meter jumper at her best. We can see from the markers there, that one's not going to be over 6 meters. Sitting in front of her right now in silver position is Fatima Alton at 5.68. And she's looking at the monitors with interest. 5.55, and you just get a sense she's just not quite sure why things aren't clicking today. It is a season's best. She has made an improvement. It's just not enough to move up in the rankings. Fatima Alton knows exactly what it is like to finish in the bronze medal position. Still a great place to finish. She's done it twice. She did it at the World Championships in Kobe. She did it again in Paris 2024. And in Paris, she managed to clinch that bronze with a personal best, 5.73 meters. But this, for her, is new. Unfortunately, she's lost both of her teammates, both of them on the wrong side of that 8-meter cutoff. So she finds herself representing Turkey alone. She had great lift off the board there. And again, given the red flag, Alton just running over now to have a conversation with the official. Now, just if you've seen that mark there, it will look as though the foot didn't cross, but you have to see the picture the whole way through. You can't just see the foot onto the board, you need to see it off. However, they have had a look. She was right in going over and challenging that. Now, that looks to me like the official just gave her the white flag. It's coming up on our screen right now as a foul, so I'm not quite sure what's going on with that one. I'm gonna keep an eye on my screen and I will update you as, yeah, okay, so there we go. A white flag is now being given. So the way that the foul board works is you do have a judge there making a visual call. There are also cameras around that foul board, and all of those images get stored, which is really helpful for the athletes. Okay, so we do see her foot coming on, but in order to finish off this picture, we need to see her rolling off, because if at any point that toe breaks the plane, then it is considered a foul. Now, I have seen in the past a foot coming on that looks like it's clear, and by the time it comes off, it's clearly past the plane. So we might just have to wait to get a clearer view on that. But
fair to say she's unhappy.
I think she's just confused. I think she's looking for a clear answer, because she was given a red flag and then a white flag, and on our screen we're still looking at an X. So they will clear that up for her.
This is the intellectual impairment category as well, so now she's happy. She's been given a mark by the looks of things, and she looks happy with it. We haven't got it yet.
Well, I can tell you the reason why she's happy with it, and that's because she has come out with another season's best of 5.72 meters. And that is significant because her personal best, her lifetime best, sits at 5.73 meters. And to be just 1 centimeter off is exciting. Now, right after all of that drama, Cassiana De Silva has been patiently waiting to take her jump. Now, she is the athlete currently in the lead with 5.88 meters. No issues with the board there. A very quick white flag from the official. Now, this is the lady, Cassiana Da Silva, is the reigning world championship from Kobe. Kucharczyk Urbanska chose not to compete in Kobe. So right now we are getting the head-to-head we wanted, and Cassiana Da Silva is coming out on top. Now that was 5.75 into a negative 1.7 wind. This is really the first time across these champs that we've seen wind readings coming into play here. Now she hasn't extended her lead, but she goes into the 6th and final round in the top spot, but it's still all to play for. We've seen this time and again. It all can change in this 6th round.
Men's shot put F33 continues as Denny Sherney is currently in front in that one. So Sherney, the silver medalist from last year in Paris, is top of the table there. Alexander Kruppen, the neutral para athlete, gold medalist from Dubai back in 2019, sits second, and Karjina is in 3rd position at the moment, the double Paralympic champion from back in 2008 and 2012. The Algerian currently in 3rd position as it stands with 1 left to go. Hani Al-Nakli last up.
Women's disc 55. You see the best throw. Rosa Maria Guerrero still leads 27.42 from Mexico. Diana Cremina second currently for Latvia. Erica Castano 3rd for Colombia. That progresses.
Back to the women's T20 long jump. And it has to be said, Im Youngie has had the competition of her life. She set a personal best in qualification yesterday. She's come out here, absolutely stormed this field, managed to get on the right side of the top 8 cutoff, courtesy of another personal best in round 3. Now she finishes in 8th. You can hear her support squad cheering loudly. Championships debut and a personal best. Definitely something to be proud of there. A great experience that she can build on in the future. Well, from the T63 sprinters to the T64 sprinters. This is the event for speed athletes in the T64 category competing with the blades. We can look out for Sherman Geety of Costa Rica. Now, we were shocked to see him lose his 100-meter crown. Has another chance here in this 200 meters. Now out in lane 9 in heat 1 for New Zealand, Mitchell Joint. Now he is a double bronze medalist at the World Champs here, the oceanic record holder and also the world record holder in the 800 meters. We'll see how handy that comes in when it comes to a 200-meter sprint. On his inside, he has the very fast Sherman Geety. He is the reigning 100 and 200-meter Paralympic champion. He has the fastest time in the field, but never a world champion in this event. Devastating fall in Paris 2023, just meters before the line when everybody thought he was going to take it. Watch for him to get out very fast. Levi Vloot of the Netherlands. Now it is his World Championship debut, but definitely not his global debut. He knows exactly what it's like to be on the podium, picking up the silver in this event at the Paralympics. Denpoom Kotcherang for Thailand. He had his World Championship debut in the 100 meters back in 2019. He was 5th at the Asian Games in 2022, but this is his first 200 meters at the World Championships. In lane 5 for neutral para athletes, Petr Mikhalkov. We've seen him already in the 100 meters, also competing in the long jump, finishing 6th there. Mikhail Setis from Greece. Now he's waited all week for this, focusing just on the 200 meters. He finished 5th in Paris. The 2 athletes finishing ahead of him being T44 athletes, which is significant because they are now in a different category. And on the inside in lane 3, we have Francesco Laragno of Italy. Oh, now he thought he was the world champion crossing the line in Kobe 2024, only to find out he had been disqualified for a lane qualification. So important in the 200 meters to make sure you do not touch that inside white line. Men's T64 is the event for below knee blade runners. Sherman Geety, the reigning Paralympic champion. Richard Brown still holding that world record dating all the way back to 2015 at 21:24. Records in para-athletics usually do not wait around that long. Right, from the inside out, Laragno, Setis, Mikhalkov, Kacharang, Vlut, Geety, and Joint. Now watch for Geety in lane 8 to get out very fast, and very fast he has, already cruising past Mitchell Joint. However, Vlut on just his inside is tracking him, and he is not letting him go anywhere. They've come off the bend, and it's very even, except for the fact that Laragno, surprised to find himself in the lead, is looking around, and my goodness, it is hard to call what went on there. In the end, Geety ended up coming out on top. Vlut coming in second, and I think we had Laragno coming through in third after really shutting things down on that home straight. That was a fascinating race there. So Laragno picking up that final third auto qualifier. First 3 in each heat going through, with the next 2 fastest times qualifying. Joint is going to have to wait and see if that is good enough to get through, despite setting an oceanic record of 22:98 there. Now just watch as Laragno comes off this bend. He ran an incredible bend. He is absolutely flying. And then just look at this look around. It's almost like he's surprised and saying, hey guys, where are you? Why is nobody coming up and staying with me? He makes that look there, and he looks to shut things down, whereas Geety and Vlut keep on going. In the end, look, it doesn't matter. All of the top 3 are going to be going through, but I find that very, very difficult to read in terms of where everyone's going to be at in those finals. I feel like neither Geety nor Vlut fully showed all of their cards there, perhaps knowing there is a bigger race to come later on this evening. So just cleaning that up, our automatic qualifiers are Geety, Vlut, and Laragno. Joint will have to wait to see if he's through with a fantastic oceanic record of 22:98, showing that it is handy to have a world record in an 800. And Setis will also have to wait to see if 23:43 is good enough for that for that fastest qualifier. While all of that took place, the closing stages of the women's T20 long jump, Fatma Alton stands on that runway knowing she is guaranteed the silver medal. However, she is currently sitting just 16 centimeters off of the gold. Had a bit of a confusing 5th round jump, maybe caused a little bit of anxiety, maybe caused a little bit of adrenaline. Initially that jump, which ended up being a season's best, was ruled to be a foul. It was protested. It was then decided that it was going to be given. And just maybe that little adrenaline boost, that little burst, could prove to be very helpful in this final round. Well, you can see she's up for it. This is the first time in this competition she has turned to the crowd and asked them, get involved, clap me down this runway. She's looking very smooth. Oh, and just fell out of that one. Now that one's given the red flag. I don't think she's going to contest that one. And maybe just letting the emotions sink in now. She is a silver medalist at the World Championships. This is her highest ever placing at the World Championship level. Just fell out of that one. Sometimes as a long jumper, you just get a little bit more kick off that takeoff board than you were expecting. Just demonstrates the kind of power she packs when she takes off. Couldn't quite control those forward forces. And now it's just hers to enjoy. All of that work done. And that silver is hers. And that right there is your gold medalist, Zelaide Cassiano da Silva. That jump is a foul, but it doesn't matter. You just see the roar of delight. So often she has finished in second position behind the incredible Karolina Kucharczyk-Urbanska. She has bided her time, she has waited, and finally today, she has beaten her at the World Championships. Now I should say, Zelaide Cassiano was the world reigning champion before coming into this. However, in Kobe, Kucharczyk-Urbanska decided not to compete. Now when they went head-to-head in Paris, it was the Polish athlete who came out on top, however, not this time. Finally, this time, that title belongs to Cassiano da Silva. Now I should say, Kucharczyk-Urbanska also had a fantastic competition, finishing off in the bronze position, once again showing she knows how to get on that global podium. Cassiano is a multiple regional and national champion. She competes across the sprints, in the long jump and the triple jump. Oh, she has been hovering around these podium places for a few years now. And in head-to-head, Karolina Kucharczyk-Urbanska has often gotten the better of her. However, this is the first time she has come out on top. Cassiano da Silva announcing herself undisputably the one to beat this year. Huge congratulations to our gold medalist, Cassiano. Silver going to Turkey, Fatma Altan with her season's best, and bronze going to Poland, courtesy of Kucharczyk-Urbanska.
We go into a second heat of the men's 200 meters T64, single below knee with prosthetic. And we've got the new 100 meters world champion in this, Felix Streng. Also Maxel Manu, the defending world champion. Good field as always. Here's Jonathan Gore in lane 9. Pan Am silver in the 100 meters last time out behind Sherman Giti. Semi-finalist in the one here for the United States. He's in lane 9 from Fayetteville, West Virginia. Next up, semi-finalist here in the 1, Jesus Castillo. Lane 7 for Brazil. Went out in the semi-finals of the 1 here, but looking to make further progress. 22.53 is lifetime best this year for Wallace and Fortes. In lane 6 for Spain. Silver in the 200 of the most recent Europeans in Bydgoszcz in 2021. 4th in the 2 in Paris 2 years ago, Alberto Avila. In lane 5. We'll see him in a moment. There he is, seeking his 3rd 200 meters world title in a row. Silver in the 100 in last year's Paralympic Games in Paris, Maxel Manu of Italy. And on the inside in lane 4 for Germany, the new 100 meters world champion. That is first individual world title, the former Paralympic 100 meters champ, Felix Streng. It was a tight one to edge out Flores, his teammate. But what a display, what a final. In the 1. And the 2 decided tonight. Again, it's the top 3 plus the next 2 who will go through. So Streng in 4, Manu 5, Avila 6, Fortes 7, Castillo 8, and Gore in 9. in the semi-final of the men's 200 T64. Now they were left a long time there, and Streng is away well and four. He's overtaken Manu already, who is the world champ. But Streng has responded very, very strongly in search of a double here. He's seen Keaty go out and do well and take that first heat emphatically, and he is well clear here. Streng in control, Manu fighting back finally. Fortes in third, they go through. 22:39 the winning time. And that was dominance all the way through from the five-time European champion. Great versatility. 11 years since he first won the European title at this distance. He's been around for so long. Relay gold in 2015. The 100 gold here. It's been a good career and a good win here for Streng.
Now, one of the challenges of running on a blade is that you can't adjust the geometry of your body as you could if you had two biological legs. They don't have any sort of neural input into the legs, and so it actually is quite a challenge to run around that corner. And if you were setting up a blade to run as fast as you can around a corner, it would be a different setup from the kind of blade that you would run as fast as you can in a straight line. So at several points during this race, this distance, athletes are having to make all sorts of different compromises, all in an effort to end up with the fastest possible speed.
It took a while for Manu to get going there, really. Can he feel a good chance coming in this final? Castillo moved up well for four. And Fortes, who was fourth in the World Championships final last year, he did well to come up into third spot. Streng takes it 22:39. Manu second, 22:56. Wallace and Fortes also through for Brazil. And Jesus Castillo is through as the next fastest, 23.19.
Just on that men's shot put, F33 has been won by Dennis Cherney, has taken the victory there. So the Paralympic champion from 2020 takes gold in the shot put, F33.
Yes, and Mitch Joint going through. Oceania record for New Zealand. Exquisite progress for him, and he will be in the decider. So Wallace and Fortes with a crown to defend and doing a good job in that. A women's long jump T20, Zaida Cassiano taking the golds, Pat Malton the silver for Turkey, and well, the regular champion Kuharczyk of Poland, Kuharczyk Ubanska now, bronze for her. Long week. Massive, massive amount of finals tonight to wrap it up. 21 in total for the final session in New Delhi. Hope you've enjoyed the week's coverage, wherever you're viewing from. Which will be slightly further away than them. Still a bit of action going on. We'll be presumably dipping into the women's shot put very shortly. That's the F40. Lara Bars is leading that, the Paralympic champion from last year. And currently in second spot, Raja Jabali, who claimed bronze a year ago. Here is Jabali, her penultimate throw. So 8:79 her best so far for the 2019 world champion. That coming in the previous round. Jabali has gone out to 8:80 this year, so only a centimetre away from that, and only 3 off her lifetime best. Mariam Al-Ziyudi from a very, very talented sporting family, currently in the bronze medal position for the United Arab Emirates. Jabali 8:30, and that will not be an improvement. Well, Renata Savinska, somewhat surprisingly, the 2023 world champion, the Tokyo Paralympics winner, the reigning European champion, is down in 5th right now and needing a bit of resolve. 8:63 she finds herself down in, and that is quite surprising, really. Here's 5th spot, throwing it out towards 8 meters. And she just seems a little bit out of sorts and a little bit out of form, and it's not quite going the way that she would wish right now. Bit of a surprise, this. Oh, she's not happy in the slightest. The former world and Paralympic champion is down in 5th. Mukhtarova next to throw for Uzbekistan, who are having a great week. Lifetime best 8:65. Now she can add another 11 centimeters onto this. She would suddenly find herself raising her way up. Her and Mariam Al-Zayudi are jousting for bronze right now, and they're joisting for the Asian record. And to be honest, they're in the race for silver. It's a great four-way battle for that at the moment, but Al-Zayudi is 3rd and Mukhtarova is in 4th place. And, well, here is Mariam Al-Zayudi, Asian record 8:76, that's just shy of 8 meters. Well, she's now picking up titles in this sport. She was a very good powerlifter for a few years. And her sister Moza Al-Zayudi will be competing in the World Powerlifting Championships in a couple of days' time. And she's now picking up major championship medals in that sport, where Mariam was for a few years as well. 7:77 doesn't improve, but her opening throw of 8:76, an Asian record, and she is in 3rd spot. And she's only 3 centimeters behind Jabali in silver and 11 centimeters ahead of Mukhtarova, who's in 4th. But here is, right now, the reigning Paralympic champion. A great success last year in Paris for Lara Bars. Bronze in Rio, bronze and silver previously in World Championships. Changed her setup, moved to Germany. That is a belter. That is a long throw by Lara Bars. Now, the world record coming into this was 9:25, set last year in Häkkingen in a big meeting in Germany. She has surpassed that with 9:41 in the 3rd round. She's going to be the winner here. There's no doubt about that. Bars in great form. She's broken the world record again. 9:77. She adds 36 onto the previous mark. That is half a meter beyond the world record as it stood an hour ago. She's going to be the world champion. She's thrown further than anybody in history, and she's close to 10 meters. She leads by 98 centimeters, Lara Bars. She's going to win. An incredible throw. An incredible athlete. And she is the #1 right now. It was a supreme victory for her a year ago, ahead of Sravinska and Jabali. And the results had drifted for a couple of years. She had never won a major championship title, not even a Europeans, before last year. And the move to Germany, which happened in advance of Paris last year, it's been a career changer, it's been a life changer, I suppose, in very many ways, considering how big parasport is in the Netherlands. And this is just sensational from her point of view. I think the other big thing she's done is she was a good discus thrower for a while, a couple of bronzes in that, and she's pretty much parked that for the time being. It's a bit like Catherine de Brunner, just a change of scene, a change of frame of mind, a change of circumstance. Bars did win bronze in the World Championships last year in Kobe, which was only her second ever championship medal after a silver in Doha in 2015, and was never able to follow up on that. Yeah, bronze in Rio, and then no global medal for 8 years, and then having switched her training and her sporting career across the border, still competing for the Netherlands, obviously, it has worked out gloriously for her.
Not sure I can top that, but I'll try. Jian Wen, the Paralympic and world champion, two-time Paralympic world champion, goes in heat number 1. Angeline Anais of Mauritius doesn't start. That's a shame. She took silver in the long jump, breaking the area record. Naomi Alphonse gold in the T54 100. The only two Mauritians to win medals at these games. But Angeline Anais does not start in this opening heat semi-final of the women's 200 metres T37. That lady does. Reigning Paralympic and world champion. She's won 100 metres and long jump gold here at these games already. Wen Xiaoyan of China in lane 8. Victoria Slanova, neutral para athlete, bronze in the 100, silver in the 400 here at these games. 28 years of age. She now looks to make it through to the final of the women's 200 metres T37. Akeisha Snowden, 4x100 universal relay, bronze last night from Adelaide. She was 4th in the 100, 4th in the 400 here. She now looks to go at least one better in the 200. Niscali Medina will go in lane number 5 of Venezuela. She took 6th in the 100 here at these championships, her lifetime best 29.76. So the top 3 automatically qualify. There are just, if all 5 start in the second heat, 3 will have to go down to 2 as far as the lucky losers are. What a championships for that young lady there. 20 years of age for Snowden. Medina, slightly older at 33, will go in lane number 5. So Medina in 5, Snowden in 6, Slanova in 7, and Wen in 8. This is the T37 coordination impairment category. They were held for quite some time, and it's Wen who, as you would expect, gets away very quickly, the world record and championship record holder. So it's Wen out in front, Slanova in second at the moment. Akeisha Snowden, though, working her way up past both of them. It is the top 3 that do go through. It's Wen who's way out in front, Slanova in second as it stands, Snowden in third. Wen just eases across the line to take victory. Slanova second, and it is Akeisha Snowden in third place. They are the 3 automatic qualifiers that go through. Medina will wait and see if her time is quick enough to be one of those fastest qualifiers. 27.75 is the time. So 2 seconds outside her championship and world record. She did ease up quite a bit towards the end. Wen Xiaoyan, 28.75 for Victoria Slanova, neutral para athlete. A decent enough race from the 2 who finished in second and third.
Yeah, I was really impressed actually with the way that Snowden attacked that bend. Clearly not at all feeling out of place on this world stage. Wen was well and away, and at that point you have to readjust as an athlete and think, right, what do I need to do right now? And it's just get one of those top 3 auto qualifier spots. And the other thing I can't help but think is, my goodness, there must be some tired legs in that heat. So many of the athletes competing in multiple events, including Snowden, who I doubt got much sleep last night coming into this heat.
Yeah, there are finals galore going on later on as well. Wen, Slanova and Snowden go through. 30.23 for the Venezuelan Medina. She'll have to wait and see if she's good enough, but I think at 30.23, that is going to be a mark that may well get her through.
Decent crowd again for this Sunday morning here, just past 11:15. Still a bit of track action left, heats, but a few field finals still continuing with that world record from Lara Bars we saw a few minutes ago in the women's shot put F40. Great time to join that. This is the second heat of the women's 200 meters T37. 5 going in this. Features a couple of Paralympic champions past and present.
Just interesting in that last heat as well, that was plus 2.3. Now I think that's the first time we've had a race at these championships where there's actually been more than plus 2.0, which is the allowed mark when it comes to championship world records, etc. So that must be the first time when we've got to day 9 and all of a sudden we've got over that legal limit of plus 2.0.
It's actually very true. One of the little curiosities of the week. It's been very calm throughout. Alton gave it a good go for Turkey in that long jump final. We are coming towards the end of that shot put. There's only a couple of throws to go in the F40. So hopefully we can get the climax for you of that. But yeah, this was a good competition. Cassiano getting out, and a lot to celebrate for her, and with very, very good reason. I think we have a few seconds left before the next race. Shot put is finishing in a couple of seconds. Lara Bars, final throw, beyond 8 meters. She is the world champion, 9.77 the world record. It's the throw of her life, the combination of her life. It's a no throw in the last round. That doesn't matter because Bars is the champion. Magnificent. Well, she's put an immense amount into this competition. She has certainly changed her career around, and she is now the reigning world and Paralympic champion. Bars 9.77 her world record, and Medina Mukhtarova a few seconds ago, a new Asian record of 8.99, to suddenly leap into the silver medal spot at the age of 18. She's added almost a metre onto her lifetime best. Bars takes the gold, Mukhtarova the silver, and Raja Jabali of Tunisia, the former world champion, gets the bronze, and Mariam Al-Zaloudi, who had the Asian record and held it for about an hour today, slips out of the medals because of Mukhtarova's final attempt. But Lara Bars, an absolutely brilliant champion. Further gold for the Dutch. We'll be moving slightly south of the border for this second heat, second semi-final of the women's 200 metres T37, coordination impairment, second strongest nominally. And in this we've got a double medalist from the World Championships last year. We've got the Paralympic champion, the former Paralympic champion too. And starting off, lane 9 for Namibia, the 2012 200 metres Paralympic champion, 7th of the 400 metres here, Joanna Benson. In lane 8 for Ukraine, 400 metres world champion here, 400 metres Paralympic champion last year, Natalia Kobzar. In lane 7 for the United States, silver in the 100 metres here, as it was in Paris a year ago at the Paralympics and in the Universal Relay, Taylor Swanson. In lane 6 for the United States, bronze in the 4, at last year's World Championships in Kobe, Liesl Gauss, finished 5th in the 4 and the long jump here. And in lane 5 for Belgium, 7th in the long jump, 8th in the 400 metres here, as was the case at the Paralympic Games a year ago. For Belgium, it's Selma van Kerm. So get us the top 3 who will be progressing their way through to the final, plus the next 2 fastest. And at the moment, those positions taken by Yaskali Medina and Ace Angeline. She's actually been unwell since her long jump medal success. First ever for Mauritius in the field at a World Paralympics Championship. So she's not well enough to compete. Best wishes to her. Great week for Mauritius, gold and a silver for them. So it's Van Kermen 5, Gauss 6, Swanson 7, Kobzar 8, Benson 9. And the top 3 will be going through automatically. Wait, the first time of asking, it's a solid start by Kobzar. Benson not so much, just being out sprinter for the moment. And Taylor Swanson going well for the United States. So a couple of silvers at the Worlds last year in the 1 and the 2. She's in 2nd place behind Kobzar, and Liesl Gauss of South Africa in 3rd spot. There probably will be a prize for 4th. I think mathematically there will be. Kobzar, Swanson and Gauss are going to be the 3 to go through automatically. Swanson having a look to make sure. Kobzar will win it 27.81, and it's Swanson 2, Gauss 3, Benson 4. They are all through. Van Kermen 5 will have to wait. That's because Angeline didn't start her semi-final. Kobzar, that was decent, 27.79 from the woman who's been so strong over the last 12 months in 400 meters for Ukraine. Swanson makes it, Gauss makes it. Lifetime best actually for Liesl Gauss, and that's impressive too.
It's always interesting when you have a 400-meter specialist like Kobzar against a short sprint specialist like Swanson. 200 meters, that distance in between. And well, yes, Kobzar definitely took this one. The way that Swanson was looking around as she came down that stretch kind of suggests to me that she wasn't super concerned about finishing top of the pack on this one. Athletes knowing that all that matters right now is that you finish top 3. And with that final coming later, possibly the wisest thing you can do is make sure that you run this in a manner that is not taxing, and so you can show up fresh.
Good success for Natalia Kobzar. Taylor Swanson progressing for the United States. And that's good news for them. And the final this evening. You can feel it coming in the air for tonight. Dutch are happy. Dutch are always happy. And they have a gold medal to be celebrating for Lara Bars.
No jacket required here.
Kobzar, Swanson, Gauss, Benson all through. Selma van Kerm, sorry, you must be going.
Well, there's a touch of paradise about this place, isn't there?
I can tell you that Benson is through as a fastest loser, and that's good news for her. 4th to top it off. I think he's going to pack the drums away. There's still a couple of races to go. Can't come here without a hat, it's mandatory. The pins are out. Women's discus F55. Now this started many, many hours ago, and it's still on, as is the nature of seated competitions. This will be Puya of India. So the situation in this is that a lot of those who you would expect to succeed very much are doing that here. She's the last to go. That's her first throw, 1952, a lifetime best. So leading right now is Rosa Guerrero of Mexico, the 2023 world champion, bronze in the last 2 Paralympic Games. and bronze in last year's World Championship in Kobe. So she leads 27.42. The lifetime best for Diana Cremina. Excellent from her. Now, she has been the world and European champion in this previously, the 6-time world champion, twice Paralympic champion. And she's been Paralympic champion in the javelin. That's her main event, but my word, doing brilliantly in the discus is Diana. Lifetime best, 26.51, so that has her second. And Erica Castano, the reigning world and Paralympic champion. She'll still be reigning Paralympic champion after this, but she's no right to reply. She is third. And at the moment, she is in bronze. And unless Puya can add a bit to her lifetime best from earlier this year of 1952, then it will stay that way. Competition started 2.5 hours ago. Where's that one out? Well, a few practice throws to be done. This is F55, which is the third strongest nominally of the seated throwing categories. Guerrero actually, by the way, in leading is a yellow card against her name, which has come today, which we'll investigate for you. We'll do a little bit of snooping and maybe get you an answer on that before we all fly home. Puya, 18.61. She's currently in 9th position. She tries to climb her way up. More track action.
Semi-final women's 200 metres T47. The penultimate track event of the morning session before we move to the madness of the final session, where there'll be 16 finals on the track and 5 in the field. Good field going in this one. Anna Grimaldi, the Paralympic champion, goes in the second semi-final. Julia Ross, bronze medalist over 400 metres already, the 19-year-old from Germany at these championships. She goes out furthest of all in lane 9. Marie Nguyen of France, 16 years of age, bronze medalist in the 100 here already. She was 6th in the long jump as well. Cara Rodriguez, the gold medalist at these championships over 100 metres. She has 6 world championship golds. She set the world record in the heat, the 22-year-old from Ecuador. 23 years of age, bronze medalist in the long jump here, Björk Nuremberg, in lane number 6. 16 years of age, we're getting lower. First major championship, Maria Lara of Chile will go in lane number 5, lifetime best of 26.80 for her. Brittany Mason was 5th in the 100 metres at these championships, silver back in Tokyo in 2020. And Sheriana Hassa of Canada, who's the bronze medalist at the Pan American Games back in 2023. I can tell you a late one there, Nuremberg, who was set down on my computer to be going, as all of a sudden popped up as a non-starter. So that must have been very late in the piece for her. So we'll only have 7 who are going. So Rodriguez, the championship record holder and world record holder, setting that in the heats. Moving through to this event in the semi-final. First 3 will go through automatically. They get away and moving out really quickly indeed. De Silva got away to a good start there. But 3 lanes in from the far side, as you would expect, it is Chiara Rodriguez, who is storming around the opening 100 metres. Rodriguez out in front, Brittany Mason doing her best. It's just the top three that automatically go through. So it is going to be a battle of there. Rodriguez out in the first place. And Ngua is going to take second, and across in the far side, Sheriana Haas has taken the third automatic qualification position. Rodriguez in a time of 24.41. Lifetime best for Nguse Yagui of France, who comes in 25.18, and Haas of Canada appeared to get that third position. She's been run out, appears by Eula Ross. So 25.66 for Ross, who takes a lifetime best, just beating home by 0.03 of a second Sheriana Haas. But Rodriguez takes top spot.
Just a moment there to admire the stride of Rodriguez. This is a T47 classification, which is an arm impairment classification. And arms are so important when it comes to sprinting, because the arms are what you use to balance the counter rotation of your legs. And when you don't have full use of your arms, that work still has to be done just through your core and with different parts of your body.
So the top three automatically through. Rodriguez, Nguse Ngui, and Ross. Passer with a season best time. Brittany Mason in 25.90. So the silver medalist from Paris last year is now going to have to hope she goes through as one of the next two fastest into the final. Haas and Mason currently in the hot seats.
We continue in the women's discus throw, 55 closing stages. For Puya, her final throw gets the white flag. 1936 her best, which is so close to a lifetime best of 1952. She's given it a really good whack today. You have to praise her for that. It's a long old wait, because you come out about 8:45, the competition starts at 9, and you get to be the last to go. Kind of having a think, well, a lifetime best would be very nice. Anything beyond that would be a bonus. We've had 3 lifetime bests today. I'll tell you about Guerrero's yellow card. It was for disobeying a referee. So she gets a yellow card for that, which I think is pretty much a yellow card in almost every sport. Puya 9th. And she can wrap up. She won't be getting any further beyond 20 meters, so she's not overtaking Karam Jyoti, who's a very good experienced campaigner, by the way, for India. World bronze medalist going a good few years back, 2017. There you go, 1945. Significant numbers there. She finishes in 9th spot. So Rosa Guerrero is the world champion for a second time in 3 world championships. And Castano is dethroned in what was a very good, keen competition in the end. India 7, 8 and 9 in the end. Kasana, Karam Jyoti and Puya. So lifetime best for Kasana in 7 spots, so no more could be asked of her. But here is our winner. Guerrero took the gold in Paris 2 years ago, and she does it again here in New Delhi. Guerrero, who outside of that, in the other 3 global championships this decade, is bronzes, the 2 Paralympic Games in Tokyo and Paris last year, and also last year's world champs in Kobe. Diana Kremina, the 8-time global champion, 2 Paralympics, 6 worlds, she gets the silver. Lifetime best as well for 26.51, so I mean, you can't really gripe about that either. Wonderful from them all. As we go to the second semi-final of the women's T47, and Shalila, after picking up the silver medal in the universal relay last night, doesn't start for Indonesia, but we do have a whole lot of champions, including the 400 meters champ from this week, Maria Augusto of Brazil. So we'll start from lane 9, and a semi-finalist of the 100 meters here for Thailand. It's Sasiron Inhachot, In lane 8 for the United States, championship debut, 17-year-old from Martin High School in Arlington, Texas. 8th spot in the 400 for Kerrigan Johnson. In lane 7 for Brazil, the Paralympic and World 400 meters champion, silver in the one here as well for Maria Augusto. No medals yet this week for the regular major championship winner Anna Grimaldi, trying to change that here. She was 4th in the 100. In lane 5 for Canada, the 16-year-old who went out in the heats of the 100, but aiming to go further here is Chloe Dunbar. In lane 4 for the United States, 8th in the 100 here, Violet Hall at the age of 17. And at the age of 23, Stencia Bonio for Kenya. She goes on the inside in lane 3. So it's the top 3 to go through. Sheriana Hoss and Brittany Mason are at the moment in the respective hot seats in a bid to go through. Pity about Nanda Shalaya not starting. She helped Indonesia to the silver medal in the universal relay last night, behind the Netherlands and ahead of Australia. Brilliant for everybody in that. That was quite entertaining in the end, and hopefully this will be as well. Violet Hall, championship debut from Bloomington, Indiana. Bonio, Hall, Dunbar, Grimaldi, De Silva, Johnson and Interjot. It is Grimaldi, the reigning Paralympic champion over 200 meters. And they're away at the first time of asking, solid by Kerrigan Johnson in lane 8. And Grimaldi as well, looking to get into her stride. Between them is Augusto in lane 7, a brilliant 400 meters world champion here. And fighting up now, it is Augusto for Brazil. Grimaldi moving up also, and Kerrigan Johnson alongside. The top 3 will make it. It's Maria Augusto for Brazil, Grimaldi in 2nd. I think Violet Hall might have nicked 3rd in the end, past her teammate Kerrigan Johnson. Debutants both, but good win by Augusto de Silva, the 21-year-old. Lifetime best by 300ths of a second, 24.97 the winning time. Grimaldi in 2nd place will make it. I think 3rd and 4th probably will both squeeze through, Hall and Johnson, between the 2 Americans there.
Now you can see in this race that some of the arm amputees choose to run with an arm prosthesis and some choose not to. And the benefits of using one at the start, you can balance off both arms, but also while you're running, it can be helpful to have both sides of your shoulders evenly weighted. You get a great shot there of Anna Grimaldi from New Zealand and the prosthesis she uses. And it may sound weird that you're actually going to add weight to yourself while you're sprinting, but sometimes being evenly weighted has more of an advantage than being lighter but uneven.
Yeah, Augusto taking that with her lifetime best of 24.97. Took control. I mean, Grimaldi moved up very well also to take 2nd place. Johnson and Hall were almost indivisible. Should both progress, frankly. As it turns out, they will. Lifetime bests for both also. 3 of the top 4 with lifetime bests. We'll see them in the final tonight. We'll see you here too. You're more than welcome to pop along. Women's discus F55, there's a results review. Augusto coming through to take this victory well ahead of Grimaldi. And just look at the 2 Americans here, the debutants. Kerrigan Johnson near side, Hall far side, both 17 years old. It was Johnson who took it. Only 2 thousandths between them, but they'll both go through. Decent going there. If there is a change to the women's discus F55 before we go off air, we'll let you know what happens, and if not, we'll see if we can mention it tonight when we return in just around 5.5 hours time. 5 p.m. New Delhi for the closing session of these championships. That discus final wrapped up just a few minutes ago. They'd been going almost 2.5 hours. Guerrero 1, Cremina 2, Castaño 3. Obviously, we don't know which athlete it is, whether it's one of the medalists who's being focused on. And generally, well, sometimes what happens is that somebody else will have a little appeal, and it'll be watched back on video. We've watched this one back on video. Augusto, Grimaldi, Johnson and Hall, they're all through. 24.97 the winning time. Anna Grimaldi progresses to another decider. May be able to pick up a track medal here. As usual, Johnson and Hall both progress. This is who's in the final. Chiara Rodriguez, so impressive with that winning time. 24.41, lots of lifetime best. 5 going to the final. Augusto, De Silva, and Gusa Ngoy, the youngster. So impressive. Grimaldi, Johnson, Violet Hall, Eula Ross, and Sheriana Hoss of Canada all making it as well. And that final, one of 21 tonight. Brazil now with 13 gold medals, 39 titles across the week. China have picked up their 10th crown. Cassiano with the gold for Brazil in the long jump T20 today. Kuhacik with the bronze in that. Iran, famously, with 7 gold medals here. The Dutch winning the universal relay last night. Lara Bars picking up the shot put gold. Fleur Young contributing 3 gold medals. India, very fiendish. 6 of the best across the board. 18 medals, a lot of them coming in the javelin. Hannah Cockcroft with 3 golds for Great Britain. 23 medals in total. That is, I think, the 4th highest medals overall. The United States slightly above that. The way these medal standings are done, it is golds first. Thailand, yes, 6 gold medals for them. And for Italy, Assunta Legnante making her big contribution as well. Sabatini also, and we'll be back with more. 5 p.m. New Delhi time. About 5.25 hours. It all wraps up tonight. 21 goals. It'll be a Super Sunday from Tulson Tollett, Steph Reed, and me, Will Downing. Have a very good day. We'll see you shortly to wrap it all up. Bye-bye.